Morning all. How are we all doing? Morning Ladder, morning Themba, Andy, Shalk. How's everybody this morning? I've just taken a quick long on DAX. Taken a quick long. I'm just getting chopped about in a minute. But took an initial entry and a break of the high of the opening range the first 5 minutes, and then we popped down and took these lows out, so I took another one there. So I've got up 3 positions basically long. Just looking for the gap fill this morning, but doesn't seem to be doing anything at the minute. Stopped below the low of yesterday, but not going far at the minute. Got 0.75 risk on it. We'll see what happens. Right. So yesterday, didn't really do anything yesterday, as you can see. We had a lot of sideways action yesterday. Obviously, it was a bank holiday. We did have a fair bit of movement, but not a lot of direction with anything. So stuff moved around, but nothing really moved in any direction. You know, so like my pound US dollar literally just flip-flopped in and out of profit all day. Not going anywhere. It's nicely in profit this morning, but nothing really moved yesterday. I just scalped yesterday. I managed to have a really good day scalping yesterday, 2.5%. But that was all scalps. Nothing, no position trades yesterday. Oil I closed yesterday as well. I got out of the oil trade. I'm really uncomfortable taking a long up here. Doesn't feel right. It was really extended. I did get a couple of nice little trades out of it, made a little bit out of it, but I just don't want to be long all the way up here. I'm just worried about this situation in Ukraine at the minute. If that kicks off, this is going to go one way or the other very, very quickly. So I didn't want to be stuck in this if we were just going to get oil prices tanking. So I've decided to get out of that for the minute. Over the next couple of days, we'll see what happens with Ukraine. If we get a pullback down towards the 24, I'll add back in again. But at the moment, I've turned the EA off on this, so I haven't got the EA running on this at the minute. So I'm not going to get into any positions automatically on it. It's coming down again this morning. Not a lot, but it's just looking really heavy up here. We had the reversal alert. This is the one that did it for me yesterday. This candle here. This is what I posted in the Telegram group. We had a big push up. We took out the highs, and then it withdrew very, very fast yesterday. So we had this big, fast drop, and I just didn't like the look of it. It just looked really bad on the 4 hour, so I got out. Morning, Stevie. Stopped out my DAX. That's a good start to the morning. 0.75 loss before breakfast. Lovely. Right. Going along again. Just taking out the lows. So I'm just going to see if this is just a quick move before the open. Right. So nothing much on at the minute. I've got my pound US, which is doing well in profit. Not very good news on the pound still. Lots of economic unrest. I'm still just going to look to get out down here. This is going to be roughly 1%-ish, something like that down here. So if we can get it moved down into this propulsion gap today, I'll be out of the pound. I'm toying with the idea. No. I was going to say I was toying with the idea of leaving one running, trying to get a run on it. But I've got a feeling today we're going to get some big moves, some big ADR moves. Because we had a very quiet, obviously, day yesterday with the bank holidays, but I'm not going to get greedy on it, especially if I'm going to start the day on a 0.94 loss. God, that's a big slippage, isn't it? That's going to be 0.75 risk. Anyway, so I've got that on, and Aussie dollar CAD I added yesterday. So Aussie dollar CAD was added. Basically, we were very nicely extended on the 4 hour. That has changed now. So we had this, we were nicely extended yesterday. We had this big push up. Just get the 4 hour up. very extended on the 4-hour. The reason I like this over most of the others is just because of the speed of this drop. This is, remember the elastic band theory I talk about in the Boocamp? This is what I mean when I talk about that. Perfect example. We've had since the move really started, we've just literally pulled down, had a little accumulation, pushed down 1 bar, pushed down. There's been no profit taking move whatsoever on that route down to get this extended. So I'm looking basically for some kind of profit take move back up into likely resistance, which is going to be somewhere in this area here. So that's what I'm basically looking for. Move up into there. Just put my TP up there. It's not much, 0.4%. It's not going to be a massive reward on it, but I'm not going to get greedy on it because we are obviously counter trend on it. So but I like it. I like a lot of these Aussies at the moment. Morning, Jane. Very extended on the 4 hours. So we've got Aussie CAD, we've got Aussie Yen, very extended. We've got Aussie US, obviously very extended as well. So decent moves down on those. But yeah, so got into that one. I'm just going to watch the DAX at the open. All right, 20 seconds. But apart from that, nothing much else today. ADRs, weekly ranges, monthly ranges, nothing's hit. We're on the 11th of the month, look. Got nothing hit anywhere. It's just, market's flat as a pancake at the minute. Too much fear in the market. We've got a few ADRs we'll go through. Can I look at New Zealand dollar, US dollar? Yeah, I'll have a look at that. God, we've got a little gap up there. If this one fails this morning, I'm going to give it a rest. I'm not going to push it. Literally going for this gap fill this morning. That's the only reason I'm taking these trades. I had 0.5% profit on it here. Should have taken it, but I didn't. No, this market's really heavy this morning. Don't think I'm going to get this one on. We'll have a look at the indices in a sec. New Zealand dollar, US dollar. So yeah, New Zealand dollar, US dollar, well, it's obviously a sell. It's been a sell for a long time. No reason why that should change. We've got FOMC tomorrow. We'll have a look at the news in a sec. But tomorrow is obviously FOMC. One of two things is going to happen tomorrow, obviously. It's either going to power up or depower the US. We don't know which. So there's your trade. If the US depowers tomorrow, lovely. If not, you're going to get into a squeeze. But yeah, it's counter trend, so be looking for shorts on it. We have just taken out this low, however. So, you haven't got the reverse alert yet there. Lower time frame. You've just had a reverse alert on the hourly on that one. But I'd want to see it break back above this level. Yeah, it's just rejected that level again. So I'd want to see it break above there. If we can get a break above there, then potentially it might start a move back up into one of these propulsion gaps, probably into that one, which is obviously a break of support. So that would really be the trade on that one. Nah, stopped out. I'm not going to... I just wanted that gap fill this morning. Why did I take that 0.5%? That was a really stupid move this morning. Never mind. So yeah, it's short, massively short today. So looking at the DAX, we had an update yesterday. If you look at the US indices, obviously they didn't. So the US was the markets were open yesterday, but to all intents and purposes, they were shut. So we didn't get any movement really. We just got the whipsaw indecision day on the US indices, but the DAX had an update yesterday. So we had a nice push back up into 50%, which is where we closed. And obviously we've gapped down this morning. So the play this morning was to get that gap fill done to open up the floodgates short, but it looks like just going short straight out the gates this morning. So So continuation move to the downside, looking for opportunities to get in short. Missed it this morning. I'm not going to chase that too quick. So yeah, looking for short opportunities. Any kind of pullbacks, I'll be looking to get in short on that one. Nasdaq, that's open really weak this morning as well. So we're just taking out those lows. So again, Nasdaq right down at support. So if this level breaks this morning, which it doesn't seem to be at the minute, that'd be a nice short below that low. If we're holding this support at the minute, if that support breaks, I think we'll probably get a flush down out the lows here. So worth watching. S&P 500 just coming down towards the lows, and the Dow a little bit further off, but everything down at the moment. So we've had a nice 2-day reversal. I want to see us put a new low in. That may or may not come today. We've also got FOMC tomorrow, which is more likely when they're going to start that move. So strength in the US dollar equals weakness in the indices. So if we get decent news coming out of the US tomorrow, then obviously we should get that break, but could well come down and test that today. Everything's getting very close, especially at NASDAQ. Got a feeling that might hold. A bit further to go, haven't we, on that one? But so big old opening range this morning, quite difficult to trade that as a break. So as Stevie's just said as well, US dollar yen, we are starting to roll over at the moment on this one today, but yeah, more weakness. So these yen pairs, obviously Aussie's coming down hard, but everything else against the yen is kind of holding up at the moment. There's no real weakness or strength either way at the minute on this, and obviously US dollar back up to pretty much what did we get up to? 146, 145.8. So morning, Alan. So yeah, big moves on this one. Got this high here which they need to break really to give us any indication that this yen is still not doing anything, but the intervention is definitely not there. So, you know, so I'm not trading this at the moment. I've got no faith whatsoever either way in the yen pairs at the minute. I want to see them power up. I want to see the yen power up. So we've got some directional bias on it. It's just all this nonsense talking about intervention and doing nothing about it. It's just making it virtually impossible to trade the yen at the moment. Any moment, that thing could absolutely fly and everything will collapse against the yen. So I'd only want to be hitting the short button on the yen at the minute. But you know, there's just nothing happening. So this is not a bad entry up here. If we'd have hit that level, I'd be interested in a short on that. In fact, if we can get that level hit today, if we can break above that level and then close back down below it, I think that's probably a good little entry. We just had the reverse alert. It might just come down from there, but that would be a nice little trade today if we can get that double top. We'll see. It feels heavy this morning. I don't want to pull back on it though, getting short. $700. I'm just going to start adding some sell stops in just to see if we get that flush out the lows. Right. So looking at news, today we've got nothing much. We've had the average earnings for the pound this morning, which basically it was kind of mixed, ever so slightly better than expected, but not by much. No real news there. We've got nothing much apart from talking heads, basically after the markets shut in the UK, really. So there's nothing today that's going to affect us. We've got Bailey talking later, but it's all this evening, so there's no news today whatsoever. So the market's free to do whatever it wants today. After yesterday, we obviously had a very flat day because the US and Canada and Japan was closed. So we should see some good volatility today. There'll be a lot of orders to be executed today that weren't executed yesterday. So all the commercial orders will be put in today. So there'll be a lot of movement, I would imagine. We should get some ADRs today. So if we get any ADR hits in direction against the trend, there might be some opportunities to get into some stuff today. So we'll have a look at those as and when, and I'll post those in the group if there's anything interesting that I want to take. But yeah, so no news today. We've got GDP tomorrow for the pounds, and then obviously PPI and FOMC tomorrow. So tomorrow's the day, basically, and then we continue from there with CPI and retail sales. So it's a big old week, all US based, apart from the GDP, which doesn't really do a lot anyway. Forecast to be flat, look, producing nothing. Not good. So it's all US dollar starting from tomorrow afternoon and the rest of the week, basically. So we want to be focused on US. There's nothing much overnight news. I had a scan through this morning. There's nothing really there. We just had some news come in. Bank of England announcing a temporary pause to corporate bond sale operations this week. 7 o'clock. You must have seen that. Oh, that's because it's this one. Oh, yeah, right. Okay. So this came in after this. Yeah. That's what I was looking at this morning. Yeah, there's nothing else overnight, really. Just the end balance that's got anything impacted. So nothing to do with news that we need to worry about. Strongest yen at the moment. Weakest odd. We can see that. So yeah, bits of yen strength coming through this morning. Short one on the DAX. Look where we're going. Uh, 121.06. Not far, is it? So that's our support from yesterday. Failing that, we're looking at an ADR hit on the previous week's lows. So see if we can get down there. Interesting to see what happens when we hit that. Right. So there's nothing to see, obviously, on the ADRs. There's no ADRs today. There's no weeklies yet this week. I will be watching these today because I think we are going to get some ADR hits today. We should have some decent volatility coming into the market. 4 hours, we've got quite a few 4 hours to look at. So Aussie dollar CAD, I'm in. So I've got first position on that, which is just going into profit now. Just about to get a reversal alert this morning on the hourly on this one. So looking nice W pattern on there. Bit of a mess. Been a bit sideways, but yeah, looking for basically a push up on Aussie dollar CAD, somewhere there or up to here. So that's where initially I'm looking. If we are going to get resistance, that's where I think we're probably going to find it. Aussie dollar yen, very extended. Aussie dollar is very weak, has been very weak. The yen obviously is doing nothing at the moment, so you can see how weak the Aussie is. It's coming down really badly against the yen, which is doing nothing as well. So although that seems to indicate that yen is the strongest right now in the last sort of 15 minutes or so, but it's not. So yeah, looking basically potentially for some kind of move to the upside on this at some point. But if you look at the price action on this one, it's been pretty orderly on the way down. There's been profit takes on the way down. We've had, big spikes up. So I don't like this one anywhere near as much as I do the Aussie CAD. The Aussie CAD came down an awful lot faster, so I think we're going to get a ping back on that one. But there is an opportunity yen long there. But as I say, I really would want to just hit the short button on the yen just in case they come up with some intervention, because we will get a spike down on it, which will probably get undone as it did last time. But you never know. This is the intervention here previously. So that big 8-hour drop. And then obviously we just didn't do anything since. Aussie dollar, US dollar moves to the downside. That's just coming down nicely at the minute. I'm just watching that support level. Oops. Yeah, Aussie dollar, US dollar. So, I mean, again, this is obviously a short at the moment. Very extended again, though. So Aussie CAD and Aussie US. I like the CAD slightly better than the US just because we've got FOMC coming up. But I don't think we're going to get weakness tomorrow on FOMC. I think they're probably going to want to talk the US dollar up. So I'm not really interested in getting in too deep on any US ahead of FOMC tomorrow, because we've got a lot of figures coming out. We've got obviously the PPI figures, then we've got FOMC, then we've got inflation, then we've got retail sales. You know, it's going to be a massively turbulent week for the US dollar. I don't think any of that is going to come out particularly negative. So I would look for strength in the US dollar. So it's a tricky one. It might not be. You know, I've obviously no idea really. No one has, but I just get a feeling from what's going on with the US dollar at the moment. It seems to be the only currency which is holding up at the minute against everything else. But obviously, it will have its weak spots. So, you know, we could have a pullback on it this week. So it is a long opportunity. It's obviously very, very extended at the moment. You're just about to get an extension below 20 if this thing keeps coming down this morning. So mean reversion opportunity, but you are very counter trend on that one. Euro odd, very extended as well. Euro to the upside. This, I was looking at taking this. I've just taken the odd CAD, but I kind of like this. It's been quite orderly since we had that push. It's been fairly orderly, and I think we've got another drop ahead of us. Euro is still very weak. Obviously, we know the Australian dollar has been even weaker, which is why we've got this move to the upside. But the euro, I think, at some point is going to have a spell of just going sideways at the same time as the Australian dollar powers up a little bit, and we're going to get a pullback. I wouldn't want to take much more than that, but where you are at the moment, obviously, you know, look at the previous extensions we've had. You are extended. It is due. But we said that with the Euro New Zealand, didn't we? And obviously that thing just went parabolic. And then we had the pullback starting all the way up there. So it's moved a lot to the upside. And, you know, we've had the two pullbacks and now it's due another one. So again, it's a valid entry. Euro short, but Aussie short as well. So when you've got no bias in any direction to trade, obviously it can do one of two things. It can either go sideways as both of them power up and weaken at the same time, or you have one which is a lot weaker than the other, which at the moment is the Australian dollar, and the other one will take advantage of that. So it's really down to the Aussie as whether the Aussie can find any strength moving forward over the next few days. Don't forget, FOMC tomorrow is going to move everything. Absolutely every currency moves on FOMC when we get something worth moving it, obviously. Just going to quickly short. So I'm just putting another short entry under these lows. So looking for a pullback drop, at least come down and test yesterday's low. So yeah, like that one as well. But again, not massively extended. You know, these RSIs, if you've been in here for a while, or you go back and watch any of the live rooms from you know, the summer and before the summer, we're so used to coming in and, we're seeing 85-15 extensions, we're seeing things lit up across the board. We're just not getting that at the moment. The fear and greed index, the market is just scared to death at the minute. We're constantly sitting in either fear or extreme fear. There's no speculative money in the market. The markets are spooked, and we're just not getting that strength of movement at all that we're used to. So I'm finding it very difficult to get into positions at the minute because we're just not getting the opportunities, because everything is either trending and collapsing far too hard and too fast to get into, or we're just not getting that normal movement that we're used to seeing. So I'm looking at setting up the EA potentially today. I'm going to do a little bit of research this afternoon. And I'm probably going to set the EA up on the hourly with the hourly M5 strategy using RSI 14. I keep umming and ahhing about it, and all the back testing I've done has said there's not really any massive advantage. But at the same time, I'm not finding enough opportunities on the 21 to get into anything on the hourly either. We're not getting these nice extensions. 80-20 onwards is where I'm really interested in getting into stuff. We're just not getting it. But we are getting it on the 14s. So I'm looking at that this afternoon. I'm going to try and pick some pairs this afternoon. I'm going to go through them all. And I'll post this in the Telegram group and obviously cover it tomorrow morning, assuming I go ahead and do it. Jesus Christ, Dax, what were you doing? It's going to be one of those days today. So yeah, I'll post what I'm going to do with it, but I'm looking basically. I will probably use 80-20 on the hourly 14, and I will pick 2 pairs in each currency to put the EA on. But I'm looking for stuff that's trending, ideally. So these will be trend continuation plays. So the rules will be. It has to, and this is what I'm going to test and look at in more detail. Either we need to be above the 24 or above the 72 for longs, and we need to be pulled back at least to 80-20 on RSI 14. But I'm going to visually test all of this. I'm really tempted to add it to that short, which is a naughty no with scalping, but if I can get my average up on that, because the thing that's concerning me about this is there's not far to go to retest this low profit wise. %, so far. I'm just watching this. So I'm not going to add to it. It's a big old move. That's not a retracement. That looks like a reversal to me. But I'm not going to add to that there. I will add to it on a break of that low. If we get a similar move back down to the downside, I think we'll get a big, strong continuation short. Otherwise, we're going off back up to this gap this morning. Just timed this completely wrong. Everything I've entered this morning has just been completely wrongly timed. This happens sometimes. That's like I keep saying over and over again. One thing no one in this universe can do is time when the market is going to move in one direction or the other. Scalping, unfortunately, is focused 100% around timing, isn't it? If you time it wrong, you'll lose, which is why risk reward is so important with scalping, because it's all about whether you can get a trade on that gets into profit before it gets stopped out. That's the game, basically. And that is the timing part that you can't get right. So looks like it's going long again, which means it's probably going to come up and do my original idea after just killing everybody this morning. Okay. Anyway, I'll leave that for a minute. So yeah, basically that's what I'm planning to do, is just go through and eyeball. And the process basically is just eyeballing on the hourly, looking at the RSI extensions. And what I usually do is I mark them. So switch over to the 14. And this is what I was doing. And just mark the entries basically. So you got one there. You got one deeper ones really. So one there. And then flipping over to the 4 hour and just seeing, you know, which of the moving averages are, and this obviously isn't a trending pair. You need to do it on a trending pair. So just seeing which of the moving averages is best to use as a filter, whether I should be using the 72 or the 24 in these strong trending pairs. If I'm finding that the vast majority of the RSI extensions on the 14 are above the 24 but still below the 72 becomes the filter. If the vast majority of them are below the 24 will become the filter. So that's what I'm going to do today, but I'm going to be picking the trenders basically. So things like the euro, US dollar. This is what I want to get into. You know, so I'll show you how to do it on this one. So basically, just marking them, the extensions we're getting, and I'm using 75 would be the bare minimum. So we got one there, got one there, another entry there, another entry there, another entry there. So those are your short entries. So flicking up to the 4 hour. So 24 filter would have worked on that one. That would have been a profitable trade. 24 filter on that one, I would have scaled in and out. So you could have used the 24 or the 72. The 72 would have got you in there and there. The 24 would have got you in there, there and there. So 72 would have saved me one position of drawdown. That one there, obviously this would have been multiple entries. So again, the 24, this is the trouble with this RSI, and this is the problem I found with the 14 on the hourly, is it gets you in way too quick. But the opportunities with the 21 RSI are not enough. This is the problem we're finding at the moment. It's very difficult to use relative strength when there isn't any, because the market's just not got anything at the minute. So, but yeah, anyway, that would have been an entry. That would have been a second entry, and we'd have had a third entry, and obviously out. So only three or four entries. If you look at the actual movement on this, we're looking at 280 ADR and a 138. So maybe 3/4 entries, which is not a problem at all. But it gets you into these trends, and this is what we're missing at the minute, and not being able to get into these strong trending pairs, because we're just not getting the pullbacks on the 4 hour or on the hourly enough. So I'm just trying to find more opportunities to get in, basically, because we're missing a lot of moves. My God. Okay. Giving back all yesterday's gains. Just cancelling these pendings off. Jesus. Okay. I'm glad I'm not trading the funded account this morning. Funded accounts, just an update. My Forex funds, I've got 2,200, which I'm not trading at the moment because it's withdrawal day coming up this week. And EA, I've got 1,500 on as well. So I'm trying not to touch it because there's 3.5 grand I'm going to draw out. Again, I keep saying that's the game you've got to play with these funding accounts. I've got 3,500 there. It needs to be drawn. If I keep trading it, there's a good chance that I'll blow the account at some point. So stop trading, take it out, and then when you've got your money, start again. Keep going. That's the way you trade them. But I had the same day yesterday on the funded account, which is taken me up to basically withdrawal level. So, right. So I'm waffling and moving around this morning a lot. That's thrown me this morning. So annoying after doing that yesterday and then giving all that back this morning. Just annoying. And I'm really unsure as to now what, we're doing gap fill or we tanking. I kind of want to take this short now here. So what I'm going to do. I'm going to set one more trade up. I'm going to do a 0.25. I'm going to put one under this candle low. I'm just going to wait and see what this candle does. We're basically in the 2050 area. So if this is going to trend today, that's where I'd expect it to do it from. Obviously, if this is going to come up for this gap fill, I'm going to get stopped out on these highs anyway. So it's worth another 0.5% risk. It's going to be a frustrating week if I can't get this one on this morning. But anyway, just watch this 1 minute. So looking at this at the minute, obviously this is a big old bullish move at the minute, but it's following the initial opening balance was short. So this kind of is just corrective behavior, cancelling out the initial move. There we go. So I'm just going to go one short here. Obviously, that's my line in the sand. If we come back up and retest pre-market highs and break them, we're going to do the gap fill. So I'm out there. Otherwise, I'm looking for basically, probably be better to look at the M30 actually, since we're on the M30 candle. So we've got that nice big rejection there, which potentially is taking up that level there, but we still have yesterday's low to come down and retest as well. So it's a flip, it's a coin flip basically from here. We're either going to come down and test yesterday's low, or we're going to run for the gap. So that's basically the idea of the trade. One of those is going to work, isn't it? I just can't bring myself to long any index at the moment because the market is just so heavy, and anything that comes out of Putin's mouth tanks the market at the minute. So, you know, a couple of rocket hits in Ukraine this morning, it's coming down. So just playing on the side of we're in a bear market at the moment, and hopefully using the momentum we're going to get out of the bear market to get these short trades on, which is basically what I did yesterday. Mostly on that. We'll see how that plays out. So RSIs, obviously, did I look at these? Look at the pound odd? Yeah, I looked at the pound odd, didn't I? US dollar Swiss RSI extensions on the 4 hour, not really interested in shorting the US at the moment. There is a chance, obviously, with FOMC and all the figures coming up, that this thing could come down, back down into this area at least. But I want to see it down here really to start looking at longs. This is just a real mess of a trade, this one at the minute, the US dollar Swiss. It's all over the place and just completely erratic. So the market structure on it is just changing by the minute. So at the moment, unless it comes up and touches these highs, I'd be interested in potentially taking a short ahead of FOMC. There's no one I can't see. I mean, longer term investors maybe, but I don't think there's anybody left in short on this. So they're not really going to do a liquidity run. So it'd be more a case of people just speculative taking shorts at this area, which isn't going to be a particularly strong move. Ahead of FOMC as well, I can see us obviously doing a breakout on this. Depends what the inflation figures come out as, but I don't really want to short this. I'd much rather wait for us to get down to here and long it. So if FOMC drives price back down there, that's what I'd be more interested in taking rather than trying to short all the way up here. Yes, there is probably a profit take move to be had because obviously you can see we've had a big strong move. We've had a couple of little spikes down in there, but very little profit taking on this. We haven't had much strength on the Swiss franc, so that's potentially what I would be looking for. But US dollar yen is kind of the better short, I think, at the moment, based on the fact that we have got something fundamental that might make this one come down. But again, really just kind of want to see it from a technical perspective hit that high. So obviously we've got 2 hours worth of downwards movement here. Obviously the market is driving down. People are entering shorts. Shorts have stops at the highs. So if they come out and take these highs and take that level and come back down again, that would be the entry. So next reversal alert to the downside you get on M15 will mean that we've had to take those highs out. That would be the entry that I'll be looking to take. If it gets there. If it doesn't get there, it doesn't get there. So hourlies, obviously there's not an awful lot. Aussie dollar yen. Extended to the downside. Aussie dollar US, again, extended to the downside. Nice 15-minute reversal working at the minute, but so it's just temporary at the moment. Euro odd. Big move to the upside on that one. Fairly orderly on the way up. You know, nothing particularly. It's lovely move, profit take, move, profit take, move. Likely to get that profit take, but I think longer term, this one is going to come down. We just need some Aussie dollar strength. So again, not extended enough. Just not extended enough for me. I want it somewhere over here to get interested in getting into this one. And US dollar CAD extended, just taking out the highs at the moment. So that potentially is a nice looking short. That closes down below that low. Hourly reverse alert, M15 you're just about to get as well. So that's not a bad trade. Nice M pattern. Lovely wick rejection there, look. Next reverse alert on that looks good. US dollar CAD. If you want to short US dollar, which I personally don't want to short US dollar at the moment. I want to long it, and I missed it. But again, looking at the hourly on this one, you know, that entry there, that's that pullback on the 4 hour here. And I said I wanted it down here to get into it, and we didn't quite get to it. On the hourly, this is a good example. We just tapped into that 30 level. So it was extended, but it wasn't very extended. If you'd have been watching the 14, you'd have been down below 25, which would have been much more convincing to get into a longer position on. So, you know, psychological, it's just looking for signals, just giving you a reason, a mechanical reason to get in. And I think that is probably going to be the only way that we're going to get into these big, strong trenders like the US dollar Swiss at the minute. So I'll update you on that today when I've done the research, but that's my job. Basically just looking at all these trenders, not so much that, but things like this. You know, I just want to find opportunities to get into this. You know, on the 4 hours, we're getting them. But on the hourly, you know, it's all these moves in here that we're missing out on, which I want to try and get into because we're just not getting enough signals at the minute. And it seems to be when I'm in something, that's when the signals come up and I can't get into it. I'm already in something else. Right, that's all I've got for you this morning. It's always a bit jumbled and messed around this morning, but I can't really see anything particularly that I'm interested in getting into other than what I'm in at the moment, which is pound US still short. Again, this thing's just flip-flopping around at the minute. Not really going anywhere. Aussie CAD, first position on. But that's it. That's all I'm really in at the minute. But I'll update in the Telegram group. And what the plan is to set the EA up, basically. So I'm going to set the EA up on the VPS. So I will be looking at the rules being, has to be, for shorts, for example, has to be below either the 24 or the 72. RSI 14 on the hourly has to be extended above X, whatever I decide X is going to be, it's dependent on what I see when I'm doing the back testing. And I will be spacing, and again, this is part of back testing, how far was the average squeeze. I'm looking for 3 to 4 positions really, so I'll be looking for what the average is there. and that will either be half an ADR or one ADR apart. More likely half ADR. One ADR on hourly is a little bit too far. You need to be in and out a little bit quicker on that. So, but I will update you on that and see how we go. DAX is just mucking about again. So it's managed to scoop me up into the second position on it. We just rejected that high, but we have put in a higher high, lower high than there, but we haven't put in a lower low yet. So I want to see a lower low put in on the next candle. Ideally, that will give us some indication that we are actually a little bit, hopefully, more bearish. But we'll just run into this. Obviously, this is the breakdown this morning. This is where all the sellers started selling. And this is where all the sellers, if they are going to win today, this is where they're going to defend and push back down to those lows of yesterday. If we've run out of sellers, obviously we'll be coming back up to the highs. So it's a critical point here. Need to get some money back this morning. Not a good morning. Anybody got any other pairs they want to look at specifically this morning? There's not a lot else to look at the moment. Today's the day we're going to put the moves in, because obviously yesterday was flat as a pancake. So I was just trying to put a sell stop underneath there, and I can't because it's in exactly the same spot. But I wanted to move it down here just to add on to it. Gold moved a lot yesterday. Yeah, big move down on gold. I mean, a lot of that will have been to do with the US. I mean, the US is about the only thing that got traction yesterday properly. So obviously gold being across with the US, but that came down a lot more, obviously, than the US moved up. So that is some actual selling in gold. This is what I mean. You know, with this pair, it's an odd thing, gold, because it's a US dollar cross, so it's obviously affected by US dollar movement. You know, if US dollar pushes up, gold US dollar comes down. But it also has these spurts where there's just natural transactions happening in gold, which, you know, gold reserves being exchanged between countries and stuff, it affects the price of gold. So gold moves on its own as well. So if you get one of those days where gold is actually moving on its own and you get a US dollar push, you get these extreme moves. And that's why I don't position trade it, because it's volatile in the fact that you can have much bigger than normal days. I mean, this wasn't a particularly massive day. I don't even think it was an ADR, was it? 30. Oh yeah, it was an ADR, yeah. So 340. I don't monitor the ADR, so I never get alerts on ADR on gold. But yeah, we had an ADR day on it when, you know, the markets were shut. Nobody was trading. Well, the markets weren't shut, but I mean, there was no one trading because the banks were closed. So, you know, and you get that kind of excessive movement, but also caused by volatility in the market and lack of liquidity. So you get a volatile move happening when there's no liquidity in the market. You get slipped and much faster movement. But this is, you know, gold's notorious for doing this, which is why I don't trade it. But that's what attracts everybody to gold. Everybody loves trading gold because you get these big, fast moves. You know, you get onto one of these with a couple of short positions, boom. It doesn't give you any opportunity to get out. It just goes. And that's why people love it. But, you know, if you get caught on the wrong side of it when you're position trading, it's hurtful. It really hurts, which is why I don't trade it. Obviously, that's the majority of what I do. I wanted to add another short down here. There's still obviously the potential for us to be forming a W reversal here as well. So be a bit careful. If I add a new position on here, my average is going to come down, which means I'm going to get out a lot faster because I'm not going to take any more loss than 0.5% on this morning. It's already done me for 2%. But yeah, I mean, I was on gold. I was saying it's a short. It's a nice short. After this push up, it's lovely entry spot, and it's doing very, very nicely. But we've still got problems with gold, obviously, with so much of it tied up in Russia, which can't get out at the moment. Nobody's buying. There's an embargo on all Russian gold purchases, so gold can't be exchanged from Russia, and they're one of the biggest holders. So, but again, this is this thing, the same as with oil. You would expect that to drive prices up because supply is restricted, i.e., all the gold in Russia is not able to be sold back out to the rest of the world. So we have less of it available to purchase. Normally, that drives prices up. Manufacturing is still maintaining same levels. Electronics manufacturing relies on a lot of gold component. So with cars, so you would expect this to be going up, and it's not. It's bizarre. And this is the same thing we've had with oil, isn't it? Constricted supply. Normally that would be bullish. Not. This just the markets are just erratic at the moment. There's a lot of driving forces. Oil's coming down quite hard this morning. I'm just going to set an alert on this actually. I'm just going to set a little alert. When we get back down to the 24, back down to this area we sort of springboarded from, that's where I'd start to be interested in building a new position long. So that'd be 38, and then scaling in, if necessary, back down to here. So this is the main area of support that we broke. So, as we were coming down, we bounced, we broke, accumulated there, retested it, retested that, came back down, retested that area, broke through it. This is where I would be looking, ideally, for my kind of line in the sand. Don't want gold to go below there. If gold gets below that level, something's wrong. So I would start to scale in somewhere around there. And then that's going to be kind of roughly an ADR. 360 to 35, yeah, so that's an ADR move there. So setting a little alert there. If we do get down to there, I mean, it's going to be a 150 ADR move to the downside, which I'm not sure is going to happen on gold, but that's where I'd be interested in starting a long position from, which is why I've turned the EA off. I don't, too extended, it needs to breathe. On 1,850. Okay, 125 ADR, and it's miles away. Okay, so once we've retested the lows, if we retest them, as I say, we're either doing that to come and get a gap fill, or we're coming down to retest yesterday's low. That is a key area. If that breaks, there's nothing really to stop us coming down and retesting down here. So key level. In fact, what I might do, I'm just going to see what I'm planning to do on this. I want to get another position on. If I stick it on here, though, it's just going to bring my average down, and I'm going to get basically back to break even too fast. So what I'm waiting for is a bit of a pullback and then a drop, and then I will enter a short underneath that low, because by the time we get back down to this level and break through it, my average will be up here and we'll be down here somewhere. So obviously, if it just continues to drop, it will just continue to drop. I won't add on again. But I'm looking basically just for it to, push, pull back, and then that next leg that starts down, that's when I'll get that position on, when we've got the momentum to drive us lower. Obviously, retest that area if we're going short. At the moment, market is very undecided. Okay, so pulling back a little bit now. So we can come back up and test this wick here. Whoops. Oh, Christ. We can come back up and just retest this area. Or somewhere up in here, basically. And then start to push back down again. Oh my God, did I just shut the wrong trade out? I did, didn't I? Oh. I told you this is not my morning this morning. I just hit the buy button by accident. And I thought I just closed out my sell. God, some days you just... Right, I'll just stop back under there. Yeah, one of those days. It's not even 9 o'clock yet. Doesn't bode well, does it? Yeah, no, that's a buy. Okay, so that was my initial sell. So I'm just myself been worse off now. Brilliant. I am human after all. Yes, David. Buttons. Whoever invented buttons. Always reminds me of that bit in Guardians of the Galaxy where he's talking to Star-Lord talking to Rocket. No, he's talking to Groot, isn't he? Or no, it's not. It's Rocket talking to Groot about pressing that button. And he keeps going, I am Groot. Wanted to press the button, which is going to blow everybody up. It's like, there's only 2 buttons. Don't press that one. Yeah, buy or sell. I'm sure. What do I hit? The buy button. And then I close out the wrong position. Good. Still, it didn't cost me, did it? Because I actually made profit on that trade. Woohoo! So we didn't get that wick test there. So I've got a bit of a gap potentially. Do I have a Telegram group? Yeah. Look in the description on the video. There's a link to Telegram in there. How much trades do I do in a day? Depends what's happening, but at the moment, not a massive amount. Go and watch the bootcamp on the website. So there's a link down in the description of the video you're watching, or well, not the video, the stream you're watching, to the website. The website's got the bootcamp. So the bootcamp is basically how I trade. I also do scalping. I presume that's you that's just joined the Telegram group because I can't pronounce your name. No offense, just I'm useless with names. Bratmuk. Come on, Dax. Okay, didn't quite get that low. Broken. Doesn't feel particularly strong to the downside at the minute. Hopefully we'll get down at least to test these lows, but if we're going to get these lows tested, very unlikely they won't take yesterday's low as well. So just not very convincing on the way there today, is it? Decent strength on the US dollar. We've got a nice hammer forming on the US at the minute, which is obviously good for shorting index. So, decent strength on the US, pound US coming down as well. So hopefully if we can continue this US dollar strength this morning, we'll get that move. So I'm going to continue this short basically. So I'm going to look to add another position short on this. I'm trying to get them spaced out fairly nicely. Obviously that is where I was with my position before I fat fingered it. So yeah, self stop under that low will be another good entry. That'll be the last one, and then I'll see where we are there. Obviously I've got a bit of profit to make up, so I'm only going in with small position sizing at the minute on this. But if we get that low broken, yesterday's low, we could open the floodgates on the DAX today. So we've had the pullback yesterday while the market was quiet. We have got that gap fill to do, which is what's worrying me this morning. But if we get yesterday's low broken, we've got a decent potential drop day ahead of us. We're going to need the US dollar to help us out, though. Need some strength from the US. US indices. Nasdaq's rejected that low for the second time. So see if the NAS can break that low. If the NAS can break that low, that'll help. That'll drive the sectors down. Okay, I won't bore you with this, but that's basically what my plan is. So pound US coming down very nicely again. So pound US target on that one, not far away from that now, just down here. So that'll be me out with 1%. And odd CAD, that's all I've got on to start a position on that first one. Looking for an ADR move on that one. Apart from that, there's nothing else. So I'm going to keep my eyes on ADRs today. The 4 hours are all in the wrong direction at the moment. And as I say, today's job is to test RSI 14 on the trend-based pairs again, which is kind of just the testing I've already done, but I think I need to get in on this 14 because I'm not getting enough entries on the 21, and you know my P&L is just I've not got enough risk on. If I can't get the risk on, I can't make money, obviously. So I need to get more risk on. And at the moment, the way the market is, it's quiet. So I'll be sticking the EA on to get some more risk on. I think what I'll probably do is keep position sizing fairly small. So instead of going with 0.25% on a half ADR move, I might go with something like 0.15 to start off with, just to keep the risk a little bit smaller. Because I'm worried about getting overexposed. There's a few just hit there. Aussie dollar Swiss just got extended. CAD yen is now up to down to 25. Again, more big losses on the CAD yen. Euro odd and Euro CAD. So those are the two that I was looking at for short entries. Euro CAD's going for it still. So this thing's really nicely extended now, this Euro CAD and the Euro odd. As I say, I've got the odd CAD on. I've got the opposite side of this on at the moment. I kind of like that Euro CAD as well. Look at that move. It's just one whip down, which is just the retest before the move started. And since the move started, we've had nothing. No pullback whatsoever. So I had one pause candle at the changeover at swap. And that's it. We're just running into as well. Nice area of resistance on this. Got this area here, which is held well. We've got these wicks, which held down here at this area of balance. Just starting to reject it. Looks really good. Dropping down onto M5. Just about to get a reversal alert on it here. Be down to there somewhere. So that looks good as a quick short. But say it's only just extended, that one. So again, you know, I really want these in the 80-20 zones, ideally. But I don't know, that's the testing I need to do. I need to see what the difference is between 75-25 and the 80s and 85s, 15s. So I just want to see, if I get in here, what's the difference on a squeeze between those two, really? Because that isn't it. These are both, all three of these are entries right now. But they're counter trend entries, obviously, so they won't be ones I take, but obviously looking for those RSI extensions. So, right. Okay, so we just had a pullback. Nice pullback there on DAX. So we've tested that wick now. So we've closed that propulsion gap out. So looking to add another position on a break of that low. That should be the run down to the lows of the day. And then we'll see if we can get that momentum. Okay, I'll update the Telegram group what happens with this one. But it's only going to get me back to, not even going to get me back to the losses for this morning, unfortunately. So might be a down day today. We'll see how we go for the rest of the day. I'll update you as to anything else I'm getting into. Obviously, you can see what I'm doing with the pound US. Anyway, so anything else happens, I'll update you in the Telegram group. Otherwise, we'll be back tomorrow morning at 7:50. No news today. Just be aware of talking heads all afternoon and evening, mainly evening, Bailey. So that might well actually be something to watch, because we have got more Bank of England intervention happening, which was announced yesterday. So we have got more potential volatility coming from Bailey on the pound, but there's a chance it might be bullish. So I'll kind of be nice to get out of this pound US today if I can, just in case we get a pop. We'll see. Okay, DAX is misbehaving again before I go, which is nice. I will see you tomorrow morning, 7:50, same time. Anything you need, come in the Telegram group. I will be in there. Hopefully you have a good day, and I will see you in the morning.